Oh, hello, flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers, and Dean HD from Essex. All right, thank you for popping in. Yeah, I just had to send out the link on X, and yeah, welcome. Friday night here in Phuket, southern Thailand. There's some kind of event going on at the Muslim school in the background, so you might hear some chanting and singing. I've been waiting for them to finish, but looks like it's an all-nighter. And yeah, I wanted to look at a couple of things that I was just wondering if there was a connection. So I wanted to just kind of go through the flat Earth map that FPV Angel has. That shows the sun's path throughout the year, including a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And then, also look at the Lunar Wave that was filmed and predicted by Crow 777. Yeah. So I hope you're all doing all right. And if the sound is okay, it would be good to know if anyone can let me know there. All right, I'll just carry on. Yeah, so it's been interesting a couple of days. I saw, was it Dave McKeegan put out a challenge to flat earthers to explain the equatorial mount and why we would see the sun during the equinox. I'm not going to get into that right now. Hello, Lord Racer. Good to see you, man. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Just we'll have a little chit chat and wait for a few others to come in. Get the regular crowd in, hopefully. Yeah. And okay, you retracted your message, but yes, hello. Yeah. Sorry, just fiddling around with a couple of other things here while we do this. Dirt Wizard, hello there. All right, welcome in. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like to put videos together that are very succinct and stuff like that, but or at least prepare. So obviously, when it's a live stream, it's a little bit different. It's a bit more, in a way, it's a bit more relaxed. Actually, it's kind of easier to do a live stream than put together a video. So but yeah, I think it's very important to. I think a lot of the globe Earth believers still do not understand the difference between calculations and measurements. They think they're very smart and they're very condescending and belittling against flat earthers a lot of the time. Really those attempts to shame people just show their insecurities, really. When you're secure in yourself and you're not attached to anything, you can quite happily, accept all possibilities, especially when it comes to how and why this place was created. So obviously a lot of us already reached some kind of a conclusion that, yeah, we're in an intelligently designed place. When it's not an accident from a big bang and it's all planned, then, there's obviously a very high intelligence behind that design. Just as there is an intelligence in our bodies that kind of fixes the body when you get a cut or does all the bodily functions that we do without thinking. Yeah, there's a whole intelligence controlling that is separate from our mind and our thinking mind and our consciousness, really. Yeah. And this is also the issue with understanding how the eyes work and perspective. We understand that the globe Earth model. I think it is good to point out this time that the globe Earth model is what it is. Nothing changes as far as distances go, where things are, where they can be found, the cardinal directions and all that stuff. One thing that globe Earth believers don't understand is that they think they've arrived at the globe model. Well, I mean, what have you got? Sticks and shadows on the ground, but essentially it's from looking up. Let's say we got the coordinate system latitude lines from Polaris, and that's done using observations. And so in those observations, then you're going to have perspective. Hi, Voy. Yeah. So any observation is governed by perspective. So when you're measuring, if you like, the altitude or the declination of a star, such as Polaris, as you get further away from it, then you're dealing with a gap that has an angular size, and then degrees are assigned to it. Yeah. So you've got these observations that are governed by perspective and angular size. So that's not a tangible direct measurement of curvature, but then that is translated into it's basically translating Euclidean geometry into non-Euclidean geometry. So very simply, right, Euclidean geometry, you've got parallel lines which never meet. So when you have an orthographic view or a side-on view of something, it's pretty much, until you go off to the left or right, it's pretty much like railings or train tracks. Yeah, they never actually converge. They remain the same distance apart. So that can be described in terms of Euclidean geometry, right? Yeah, you still have angles and things, but then an observation that is governed by perspective can only really be described in terms of non-Euclidean geometry. So you end up having parallel lines that appear to converge. So Euclidean geometry, the parallel lines never converge, but non-Euclidean geometry allows you to have parallel lines that kind of converge in the concept. Yeah. And in fact, it's funny because a lot of the globe Earth believers will also say, oh, you don't understand concepts, you're too stupid to understand. And this is the thing, you ask them if they understand how their model came about. And it's literally, the globe is just two hemispheres, but mainly starting with the north hemisphere, which is basically non-Euclidean geometry, creating this sphere of degrees or hemisphere of degrees from a level surface using observations, so not tangible measurements. Yeah. So I'm trying to. I've actually popped into. I popped into Dave McKeegan's channel, and then Wolfie 2060 6040 or whatever it is, because they were talking about, they basically, this is the thing with the sun and the whole TFE thing, their entire model is based on looking at the sun and the stars, or predominantly the stars, but then assuming to know what the sun does, and seeing it circling makes them think that proves the globe. Well, nothing changes as far as I'm concerned with the things that you can plot on the globe. You have a coordinate system, latitude, that started with latitude. The longitude is time, right? So the latitude was worked out from making observations in the sky, governed by perspective, using non-Euclidean geometry, so you end up with curves instead of straight lines, yeah, or parallel lines that appear to converge. And so in that sense, you can use triangles to kind of represent perspective, but at the same time, a triangle has 180 degrees. So you can play around with it. It's all kind of interchangeable. You can change it into geometry, yeah. So, yeah, this is it. and that's why, you know, the globe works as a working model in that respect, because yeah, you can get to places, and it doesn't matter, you know, which hemisphere you're referring to. You cross into one or cross over to the other. Well, you know, they just work in that sense. Yeah, it doesn't mean the Earth's curved. It's just because of the conversion from you know, perspective with observations into this orthographic view. There's another conversion that goes on there from what we see in front of us to this side-on orthographic view. And of course, when they, you know, if you try to represent perspective in a way that has that illustrates excuse me, the way our vision works in an orthographic view, they'll say, no, 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 you can't do that. And so, yeah, basically, you know, you end up with a celestial sphere that isn't actually a sphere. It's just a parallel sky to the level surface, but it's illustrated, or it's calculated as a sphere because of degrees and all that. That's used from perspective, or from the sun, star elevations, and that's put onto the ground instead of staying up in the sky. Yeah. Dean HD, what about raindrops and ice cubes? I'm not sure. Are you just being sarcastic there? So who we got in chat? Anyone else in there? Brian A. Metz, good day. Voy, yeah. Okay. A few of you in. So yeah, let me just go through this video you can see up here. I'm going to play it in a second, but this is a fantastic map. Whether you want to call it a model or not is kind of up to you, I suppose, by FPV Angel. Link to that is in the description. And so basically this is a top-down view of a kind of Mercator type map, but what you have here now, I don't fully understand this. I'm kind of exploring it, because I don't necessarily know how these were arrived at, but according to FPV Angel, it's from the Nazca lines, the sun-star grid, decoded from Nazca lines. Okay. So that's basically what we have here. And we're basically going to see the sun do a cycle. Now, FPV has started this cycle on the March equinox. And, you know, you're going to see the sun go from the right to the left, and then it's going to go up in what would be usually the northern hemisphere on a globe. But in the north, it's going to go around and around. So one thing he points out here is that when you see one cycle of the sun, that's representing 1 month. But of course, you know, in 1 month, you're going to see the sun go 28, 30 times, right? But he's not done that. He's just said, okay, we're just going to represent one cycle is he says 30 days, 12-month calendar, 360-day year. Okay, so it says the animation shows one crossing per month to save on resources. This is to show I'm struggling to read that. The changes you should think of. Oh my goodness, it's quite fuzzy. Gates in electrical terms. This is part of a circuit. Yeah, so you know, when we're talking about intelligent design, we're talking about something that obviously is designed to, you know, work, and why not? You know, we know that electromagnetism and all sorts of phenomena happen on the Earth that we're not fully you know, we don't have the full knowledge of how they really work. But yeah, I mean, we know it's not an accident. Yeah. So just let me just hang on for more data. Okay, says do watch our previous uploads. Okay, so yeah, the link's in the channel, and you can see that. Right, hello. We got a few more people in. Conscious Machine. Ever thought that the sun moves in an infinity shape? Two suns, perhaps. Yes. This is it. You know, this is the thing. We know, and the only thing we can measure is the Earth. We can only assume what the sun's doing, and if you presuppose a model, then, you know, we know that the AE map is not a model, and doesn't necessarily represent everything, and it doesn't necessarily work in some ways, and of course, you know, this false dichotomy has been put up by the TFE guys, to say, oh, that's your map and model, when no, it's just one of many possible maps that you can make. Yeah. But it's all based on the same coordinate system, isn't it? So let me just play this for you. And there goes the sun going around. Okay. So now it's gone to April, then May, now June. Okay, so this is the solstice. So, you know, I think what he's got down there in the bottom left corner is seeing the 24-hour sun in the north. Then we've got July. So it's going through these different gates, and now August, and then when it comes around to September, it's going to change direction. So it's still always going across the equator, and now it's going south of the equator, going round and south of the equator. Still coming from the east to the west across the equator, but now doing this lap south of the equator. And you can see here the 24-hour footage from Antarctica being overlaid there, and that's the time, that's the December solstice, I think it was. Yeah. Okay, so now it's in February, March, and here is the equinox. I'll stop it there. So we've done a year now, so we've gone back to the March equinox, the new year. Yeah. And so let me just bring that. Yeah. The equinox is important. Okay. Changes happen, right? It's a definite onset of spring, of a new year. And okay. I had it on top chat. Okay, it's now on live chat. I can now see the chat better. Okay. Alrighty. So what's interesting is this is the time when the Lunar Wave comes about. If you've ever watched Crow 777, he was doing well when Flat Earth was trending as well. He'd done some research on, I think it was a Russian chap that had been observing the moon and predicted this lunar wave. Okay, so Crow 777 started following up on that, and he also was able to film the lunar wave. So what I've got up next is, we'll just get this one.
All right, here's the general information. This was shot on March.
Okay, I'll just. Yeah, before I get into this, hello, I'll just say hi in the chat. Thank you, Conscious Machine. Yes. Plain Truth, greetings all across the plane. Happy to see the APM model getting some critical review. FPV Angel has refused my difficult questions on it. Okay. Yeah. As I said, I'm not 100% sold on this, but what I think is it's a fantastic, you know, avenue of exploration, right? Um, and yeah, uh, for most intents and purposes, it does work. But we'll go through it first, and then I'll kind of maybe, you know, again, it's not something I have fully understood yet, because obviously a lot of research has gone into this by the other guys that put the map together. Yeah, but okay, let's just crack on with this for the moment. Yeah, so you know, the equinox is when things change, when the sun changes direction, right? And if we're talking about some kind of intelligently designed system, something that works in a way that's other than, you know, matter just interacting with gravity and things like that haphazardly, which obviously it isn't. It's very refined clock in the sky. And we have this lunar wave, which appears to be, it's like some kind of digital refresh, right? Ashman Carols. Yeah, okay, conscious machine, wherever the sun is in relation to the moon is the side of the moon that's always lit. Yeah, there is this relationship between the sun and the moon. I mean, whether the moon is emitting its own light or reflecting light, or it's being lit up, it's being energized. Again, that's all open to interpretation. But I definitely think the sun and the moon are obviously working together. You know, yin yang. It's like the male female thing. It's like anything in life. For life to reproduce on this earth, you need a male and a female, right? So it is just kind of logical and kind of rational, no matter how bizarre or obscure it seems, because we've been given this detached view of the moon being just this rock that kind of arrived and ended up all orbiting around Earth, and then we're supposed to be orbiting around a 93 million mile away sun that's 400 times larger, just because. Yeah. Yeah, but really we see the sun and moon working in tandem somehow, right? Hello, Zoo Scott, JT33. Shapes and models don't matter. The only relevant question is, are they lying about space? Well, it's interesting. I think one quote I was going to bring up, I may as well bring it up now. Where is it? Just a second. You see, there's this author who kind of was into psychology and stuff, Fyodor Dostoevsky. My daughter knows this guy better than me. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Okay, so he said the best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in prison. I'll see if I can just add that now. It's a good little quote. Give me a second. I've got to change the font size. Just a minute. Too much hassle. Right, leave it for now. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm getting distracted, so we lost the kind of flow there. So anyway, that aside, so let's just go into the lunar wave. So this happens as predicted in the kind of in around the March area time. So as Crow explains it, yeah, and it basically says when the footage was shot. So this is, I think this was the 12th time that the lunar wave has been filmed as predicted. So there is something going on there that is beyond our understanding, yeah? that is predictable. Some kind of, the only thing that Crow can really kind of refer it, compare it to is like some kind of digital refresh, yeah? So let's just have a look at that. I'll just play the video now, and then I'll shut up for a second.
27 at 9:20 Houston time. The unusual thing is roughly 40 seconds lapse between the waves. The big deal is Randy followed the research and knew there was a prediction for waves between the equinox and Easter. Here comes the footage. I will cue you. It's coming from the bottom right now. And there it goes. All right, there is the first wave by. What makes this footage very unusual, and you can see, Hattie Bow said, always in the third phase up till 2012 and associated events happening with the wave that I filmed in 2012. What's crazy about it is these things keep getting harder to see, and look at the spacing. If you saw the first one, would you sit there and stare for 40 seconds trying to determine what you just saw? I mean, what's going on here? Anyhow, in about 10 seconds, we're going to see the second one. I'll cue you as it comes in from the bottom. And there it is. So I'm going to load filters, and by the way, he used a diagonal with a prism, which is why the image is flipped. Okay, the first view we're going to take here is with only contrast and brightness. I'll cue you when the wave is coming in from the bottom, and here it comes now. There it is. And I have cut the 40-second interval down so we don't have to wait as long to see the second wave. Here is the cut mark. And right here is the second wave, and there it goes. And to be clear, this gentleman is using what's called a diagonal. It holds an eyepiece. There is a prism in there. That is the only reason why the image is flipped, and I have not unflipped it to present it as it was shown. Here's color, contrast, brightness with channel inversion, and here it comes. That's a pretty good view, and I'm going to run some other filters to see how much better I can get the view for us. And these are all in real time. There's no time manipulation. There was the cut, and here it comes from the bottom. All right. So there it is, and let's load up a couple more filters and see what we can do. Okay, so this is a find edges filter, and in the filter it's not inverted. Here comes the wave from the bottom now. And there it is. And look at that pulsating. This find edge filter is so such a handy thing, and it's reminiscent of the energy pulse in the 2012. And here it comes from the bottom. But as I ran the filters, that's what struck me, was just the pulsating look that the entire moon has. And I ran this on just some footage I shot last night, and I do not get the same effect, though I don't have footage from this time, unfortunately. And here it comes from the bottom. Here is an inversion of the find edge filter and blended through to the original file. Here comes the cut. There's the cut. And here comes the next wave right now. All right, and we'll load up one more view with filters and then look at the thing in its entirety. So right here is an inverted find edge that's partially blended through with contrast and brightness. And here comes the filter now, the wave right now. And right here is the cut in the file to shorten the interval. Here comes the second wave right now. Let's look at that pulsating moon up there. It's crazy. All right, here it is in its entirety, coming in at the bottom right now. So this is just a color channel inversion using brightness and contrast to tune it in as best possible. There's going to be 40 seconds to watch the full footage here in between the wave footage, but thank you so much, Randy. I mean, I know how much work it is to sit out there hour after hour trying to catch something, but I truly appreciate that you understood there was a prediction for waves in this time and you went out and nailed it. And it's unfortunate that I was not filming for 2 minutes that I should have been. Anyhow, we're coming up on the second wave. This will be the final view that we take. And there it is. The 12th lunar wave captured. 7 people have done this. This is the second capture from Randy in Houston. Everybody that has an interest, please go out and film. Up until Easter, the true full moon Easter, is the time to do this as predicted by my research and backed up by Hattie Bow. Cheers.
All right. Interesting, isn't it? I just saw a comment by Plain Truth. I had no idea, actually, that FPV Angel attempts to explain the lunar wave as a halo ring of sort crossing in front of the moon. I had no idea he'd made that connection. I was just kind of, because I came across the lunar wave thing, I mean, long time ago when Crow was first doing it, but then just today, I think it came up in some feed. Oh, yeah. And then realizing that it was at the equinox, and then you've got these changes going on with the sun through these gates, and as the sun and the moon are related, or at least the moon is like a background. It might not necessarily be the moon refreshing, it might be something in the entire sky refreshing, but we can only really see it happening to the moon because it's like a background illumination. Yeah, so I've done something's gone wrong with the chat. Oh, hang on. Okay. So yeah, let's just move on to this second part of this cycle that FPV Angel is doing. Okay, and obviously, in my mind, the question is, what about any crossing of the Earth, coming from the where is it, the west, obviously on a globe or other kinds of maps you can go from the west to the east. Now, so FPV Angel has got this restricted zone here, saying that this is, beyond this zone we don't really go or fly. Now, this is not something I know for myself, but obviously I do know that people cross the date line. I think my mum crossed the date line when she went on a cruise. Before I was born, she always told me, "Oh, we crossed the international date line." So there are accounts of people doing it, crossing the date line, and in this particular map, you can't apparently do that. So that is my personal bone of contention at this moment with the little knowledge I have of this model at the moment. I've just kind of, FPV Angel, I know, has put a lot of work into it, and I want to share it, and as always, you can just make up your own minds about what you're seeing or what it's representing. Yeah. It's kind of cool, but those questions remain as to whether things can be proven. Now, I have asked FPV about the date lines. I said, do people really not cross the date lines? And I can't remember the answer I got, but it didn't really kind of answer the question. So as far as I'm concerned, that's still unanswered for me. Yeah. But otherwise, I think it's cool that so much effort's got into doing this, and in many ways it does make sense. Just as the AE map makes sense in a lot of ways, but there are things that remain that you can't really. Would take some more verification, let's say. Yeah. Okay, Plain Truth, you said you've sent FPV Angel amateur videos showing flights from eastern Russia to Alaska. He claims they are fake. Okay, yeah, well, this is it. I mean, okay, yeah, I've not gone that far with it. But, yeah, claims of fakery need to be kind of backed up as well, don't they? So... but there does seem to be something about the lunar wave that's predictable, and it's during the equinoxes. I wonder if it's visible at other times, solstices, etc. But basically, you know, my way of thinking about this is obviously when you're using the sun and referring to the sun to try and map the Earth, you're always going to be faced with the challenge of not knowing what the sun is or what it's actually doing. Is it coming through some kind of, you know, whether it's a biblical firmament or waters or superfluid or gas, or is it being refracted? You know, I mean, if you play around with, for example, if you play around with a laser or a torch or whatever above a bucket of water, you don't have to move your thing much in order to make it kind of go around the bucket and only shine in certain areas. Yeah, so you know, anything's possible. This is it. You know, what we can know is that the ground is measured level, and the globe model has been put together by making observations into the sky. And that's another thing about making observations in the sky. I was going to do a separate video about this, but basically, you know, if you just, for example, if you look at two stars in the sky, you're looking at them. We have absolutely no idea how far apart those stars are from each other. Yeah, there's nothing you can actually know. You could model it, and you could give it this side-on view, and you could say, okay, I see that star there and that star there, and then you can play around with mathematical models, and you could make some kind of conclusion. You could make a mathematical proof. Yeah, but if you think about that, how difficult or how impossible it is to actually know the distance between two stars in the sky. Think about the fact that, you know, they're telling us they know the distance to the moon from the Earth. We don't have anything else to compare it to. The sun as well, you know, they're telling us the distance to the sun. We don't have anything else to compare them to up there, like the two stars. It's even more challenging to work out a distance from us to that thing in front of us, because we don't know its size. We just don't know how far away it is, and all these things. Yeah. Now, I suppose another thing worth mentioning about when people get out their what are they called, equatorial mounts, and they have it going around for 24 hours, and they'll track the sun most of the time. If you track the sun, you're going to track it across your sky for 12 hours. Excuse me. I'm kind of working all day. Yeah. So you're going to track the sun across the sky for 12 hours, and then it's going to go away, and it goes somewhere else, and it comes back around, right? So, oh yeah, the point that Dave McKeegan, made in his latest video about his challenge to flat earthers to explain how the sun goes all the way across the sky during the equinox, and how that can't work on a flat earth and can only work on a globe. Well, again, he's just starting with a model that's based on looking at the sun. But if, for example, you watch an aircraft go across the sky, goes across your sky, goes from horizon to horizon, might take a while, but essentially you've got a very narrow view of that aircraft, and because it's low in terms of these cosmic distances, it's quite low to you, it's a low altitude, then it's going to cross the sky in, you know, a relatively short time. But, you know, that's just one small fraction of its journey as it goes across your personal subjective field of view. And for someone else, it's a little bit delayed. It goes out of your view and it's coming in, it's already in someone else's view, and it's kind of, you know, it might be going out of your view, but it's already halfway across someone else's view just down the road, or a few more miles away. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of, it can still happen that you have a sun going across your field of view, and it just goes directly from east to west in what appears to be a straight line. It doesn't only work on a globe. There's many other possible explanations for it, and again, all depending on the actual height of the sun from the Earth, and all the other stuff, right? Hi FPV. All right, glad you came in, because at least you're okay. Now FPV, that's the comment you replied to me with, that you're invoking a fantasy Pac-Man map. Well, no, because we're just looking at this map that you've presented, and yes, it does leave that question that if people are, you know, actually crossing the date lines and things like that, or the date line, then that, you know, that just doesn't kind of fit. And so, yeah, I mean, if you were going to stick to this layout, then yeah, okay, it would have to be a Pac-Man. But this is the thing. It's like, well, no one's by default claiming that it's a Pac-Man map. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all up for, you know, trying to work out where your thinking is really coming from. That's all cool. Okay. FPV says, I referred to how they're moving continents from the east to the west. You would need a globe for that. Well, yeah, we need, you know, this is it. Ultimately, if ships and aircraft are crossing date lines, and you can go from the US to the Russian side, go off to the west there, you know, if that's possible, if that can be done, then yeah, where does it leave us, right? Yeah, you're saying, okay, FPV, you're saying, no, Nick, all of the others are Pac-Man maps where it is wrapped east to meet west at the IDLs at the IDLs, international date lines. Well, I mean, yeah, so I mean, this is the difficulty we have with maps. I mean, how do we make it consistent? Yeah, you know, this is consistent in many respects, but you know, it still leaves that question. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm not assuming that you have to switch to a Pac-Man map. So yeah, but you know, I think this is great and explains a lot. And you know, what you've done is you've made this connection to the earth and the sky. Hang on, let me just read your comment. Australia is southeast of me. How can it also be in the southwest if it isn't? Okay, but the ancestral, so where they wrap the map around to create a globe. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm not quite. Hang on, let me just try and read that again. Australia is southeast of you. You're in the UK, right? Southeast. Okay. How can it also be in the southwest? But southwest for who? For, yeah. I mean, yeah, there is an issue with the cardinal directions. I mean, all we've got is north, and we don't know what that's really doing. So yeah, I'm again open to re-evaluating what the cardinal directions actually are. Yeah. But I think it would be good if you try and kind of, you know, I mean, you've done, like I said, you've done a great job so far, but I think a lot of people do have questions, so it'd be good to, you know, if I can make sense of it, I'd love to, you know, keep putting it out there. But whatever you can kind of do to clarify things, in that respect would be cool. Yeah. So FPV, you kind of you have a kind of an agreement. What is it? You agree with the Lunar Wave stuff? You see that as something that flipping heck. Sorry about all the coughing. I'm drying up. Yeah, it's been a long day. Okay, flights can only, you're saying FPV is saying flights can only cross the map over Greenland and straight across in the south. You cannot go east, I think you mean, to arrive in the west on the stationary level plane. Well, okay, yeah, I mean, according to the map, but again, it's just something I would have to look into and confirm, because as I said, I've heard first, so this is it. What I'd love is if someone is if someone is crossing the date line and they've gone in that direction, then what's happened? Yeah. Would you have an explanation for how someone can say, I've been across the date line and I went that way? Do you have an answer that kind of works for that with the map that you have? Yeah, that's the thing. So are you basically saying are you saying that there are no flights going from Alaska, say, to Russia? Is that your claim? That in the real world, no one's flying between those? Well, no, I'm not asking you. This is it. Don't. You're saying, how did they teleport Russia to the West Plain? It's impossible to be Russia. Okay, that's not answering my question, mate. Okay, like I said, yeah, I understand that obviously if you're going west continually or going east continually, well, I don't know, whether you do ever arrive back where you started. I don't know that. I'm not assuming that people teleported. Yeah. I'm just kind of, so I mean, can you just tell us straight? Are you claiming that there's no travel, no flights or ships going, say, from where have we got it from this? So basically you're saying from over here on this, let's just not forget about cardinal directions, let's just say the left side. You're saying no one ever goes there, and of course, no, they're not, but just regardless of the map, are you saying that anyone that's over in these countries will never go to this side? Is that the claim? Okay, you're saying so no one has done it. Yeah. Yeah. You see, this is it. It's not just because something doesn't fit with the map. This is it. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, again, something I'd have to look into. Conscious Machine says FPV agreed. Same for LA to Japan. They don't cross the Pacific. Yeah, I understand that, FPV. I do understand. Okay, you're saying yes, it's a level map and you cannot go west to arrive in the east and vice versa. You would just keep going. All right, understood. Okay, that in this map that wouldn't be possible. But the question is, and how can we prove it, that no one is traveling from one side of these countries to the other. You know, in the AE map, for example, you could say, okay, right, they can go all around and around and around, and they can go east and east and west, and that's okay, yeah? All right. But yeah, I mean, you could connect that to reality, but then we know, for example, that no one, and it's kind of admitted that people don't go across the South Pole, allegedly the South Pole. Yeah. Well, okay, FPV, how can we research collectively whether flights or cruises or whatever are or are not going from and to the locations that would be impossible on this map? Well, okay, you're saying that FPV Angel is saying that AE, like the globe, is a Pac-Man model hiding east and west. How is it hiding east and west? I'm not getting you. I know you've probably thought it through and you've got the reason, but I'm just struggling to get that at the moment, yeah? So, I mean, we should have maybe had a discussion about this first so I could, be more clear about it, but, yeah. Okay, so Conscious Machine is asking, are there flights from Hawaii to Japan? Dunno. Okay, look, I'm just gonna, may as well do it. Yeah, again, this is something I should have researched a little bit. I'm actually going to put flight paths global. See what comes up. Give me a second. Yeah. Now again, I know that we're just referring to maps. Yeah. Okay. We could go to flight tracker. Plain truth. Plain Truth says, I'll find the amateur flight videos between Eastern Russia and Alaska. You can review it for yourself. Okay, so Leighton Stone says, but I've flown from New Zealand to the USA. Okay. Yeah, I suppose it would depend on which way you're going. I was just gonna bring up, okay, hang on. Let's see if I can bring this up. Just a second. I need to make some adjustments here. Sorry, this is all trying to be done live. Alrighty. Okay. So I'm on Flight Tracker. So, we've got, so here's the date line, right? As there's a aircraft going across that way. Okay, I mean, there's no flights going. It's interesting. I mean, no flights going across that shortest uh, distance between the US and Russia. And there's this whole space. Let me just check that's coming through. There's this, that's quite interesting, actually. There's this whole space up here. Where aircraft are not flying. Okay, we got this. Okay, all right. So, okay. So, for example, nothing's going between Argentina and New Zealand. Yeah, Power says, is there an explanation for why the IDL is shown as a crazy Tetris line zigzagging north and south in the Pacific? Yeah, I'm sure they have an explanation for it, but I don't know what it is, to be honest, myself. Yeah. So, okay, I mean, that is interesting that you have this. Yeah, I mean, obviously, our understanding of the cardinal directions might need some fine-tuning. And, okay, yeah, so down south of the equator, then you don't have anything going across here. So that is interesting. Of course, that as well, yeah, I mean, you know, in terms of, we just try and, you know, you got nothing ever traveling down south and coming back up. Yeah. That's, I mean, that's a nice proof in itself, isn't it? That everything's happening across these continents here. Look how many millions of planes there are. Millions of people in the sky at the same time. Nuts, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so, all right, FPV Angel, listen. You keep saying these things like Russia is not to our northwest, and things like that. And it's kind of like, okay, just saying that still, I mean, you've, like I said, you've obviously got the thought process behind it and you're very familiar with it, yeah? But it would be really cool to kind of understand the background behind that conclusion, yeah? Or what you mean by when Russia is not to our northwest. Okay, so where is it? Where is Russia? In relation to wherever are you talking about the UK? Yeah. Hello, John Thor. Yeah. Okay. Graham 9. Hello. Right, so I'm just going back through the chat to see if I missed anything. Auto Hoax, hello. It has been my understanding that flights will travel in the supposed Great Circle route that takes them as far north as Thule in Greenland, but no flights go over the actual North Pole. Okay, cool. So, yeah, we do have, again, that is interesting. We really don't have anything going over the poles there, yeah. So we got these vast gaps. Yeah. So, yeah, I get that we've been totally misled about the poles, and I haven't yet wrapped my head around where what your thinking is on the cardinal directions, how I need to adapt my thinking to incorporate it, yeah? So, totally open to actually getting to understand. Hello, Mojo Shop, and I saw Music Realm you were in earlier. Hi there, Brendan. Zeus Scott, hi. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, I can see, kind of what you're getting at, but yeah, when you answer with it's not, it has to be a Pac-Man model in that case or map. It kind of doesn't make sense to me where that is coming from, and okay, how is the globe a Pac-Man? Are you saying that the globe is a Pac-Man map? Hello, Ian Collins. Okay, FPV, you said, I discovered in 2017 they use flights that have to cross over. Sorry, I've got to go back up. Cross over Greenland to get to the other side of the map. Okay, hang on. So that have to cross over Greenland to get to the other side of the map. Let's just bring that up again. Can we see Greenland? There it is. So we got some, yeah, like this one came, yeah, okay, it's heading that way. Okay. Right, but yeah, nothing's actually going up what we would usually consider north, right? Okay, so yeah, big gaps, obviously, and this is definitely part of the deception, or where things may or may not be put on a map, and we wouldn't know any different because no one ever goes there, right? So, yeah. Have we got some more people in? Dab in good. Santa is at the North Pole making a list. If you're bad, you get a black rock, or maybe your soul goes in the black rock to relieve what you've done to others. Okay, FPV. Yes, the globe is a Pac-Man model where it appears land will keep repeating as you go east or west. In reality, that can't happen. Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, you know, but the argument is going to come back. But the Mercator projection is a projection of the globe, and so kind of, yeah. Yeah, okay. You can, yeah, all right. You can debunk the globe. That's fine, but it's more of a case of proving the map that you've got, yeah, and you know this lovely system that works with the sun, etc. And you know that's all good. So I don't know if you joined in time to see us going through your video there. Oh, I see. That's your stance. Okay, so you're saying that the globe was inverted from wrapping the Mercator around a ball. I see. Okay. All right. So okay. Yeah. Now, of course, I would ask you then a long-winded question, which is all kind of based on your many years of research. So. Again, that would maybe take some looking into the videos to work out. Hi, David Banner. Right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I do understand that obviously you know in many respects you've based it on the Nazca lines, so you've kind of taken what would be a blueprint. Hi, Dr. La, a blueprint, shall we say? Yeah, I suppose as usual I'm just stuck with how do we compare it with reality. So let me try and ask in a way that you're able to give a short answer, FPV. Does that mean that the north, south, east and west that we're familiar with is different, or just not relevant? Yeah, I know it's a lot to type in chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, understood, FPV. That's fine. Yeah. I know. It'd just be very frustrating for you to try and chat. So, yeah, as I said, I mean, my main thing here was to kind of just share this and introduce people to the idea of the, and obviously you'd already made the connection, which I didn't know, that you've got the FPV map, your map, or the Angel map, and the Lunar Wave. Yeah. David says, go easy on FPV. He had to put up with me for 3 years not getting it, and he never raises. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that the cardinal directions are perfect. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't want you to get frustrated and agitated in the chat. So, my naive questions require me to do more research. And yeah, having a chat with you would be great. Because I've listened to a couple of your interviews and stuff. And like I said, you know, I definitely respect the work you've gone into it, and it's beyond my knowledge. So I'm not familiar with the territory, yeah. So I've got some catching up to do there for sure. So really today was just to say, I remember I talked to you earlier on, and I said, hey, well, we kind of chatted, didn't we? I said I'd love to kind of do a thing. So hopefully that's what, you know, this isn't. Obviously, the more people can collaborate and stuff, if that's what you're up for, then the better, eh? So let's just bring up the that again. I'll just get rid of the browser. All right, let's just play it again. All right, from the beginning. Yeah. So yeah, so basically for any of you that kind of come in a bit late, obviously FPV Angel's map here accounts for the 24-hour sun in the north, as you can see here, as it goes through these different gates, and as he mentions in the side there, one cycle here is representing a whole month, so it would usually go around, like, you know, 30 times in that 1 month, but he's just doing the one cycle to save on resources for the animation, right? And then so September equinox, it's now going down here. So we've got this change. The change happens in the equinox, and this is when we see the lunar wave. So let me just bring up the lunar wave again, for those that got here a little bit late. So
all right, here's the general information of this filter, and in the filter it's not inverted. Here comes the wave from the bottom now. And there.
Okay, so it's right there at the moment. So you know, the lunar wave is fantastic, and so yeah, this happens at the equinox as well. So I just figure there's surely some connection there. You know, FPV Angel is saying there's this change of the sun in its cycle at the equinox. And that's predictable, right? We see it in the analemma as well. You know, there is this kind of, it does come back on itself, doesn't it? Yeah. So there obviously is this pattern of a switch in what would be the natural new year, right? And then you have this lunar wave happening at the equinox. So something is happening up there on the big screen in the sky, the clock in the sky, the firm, whatever you want to call it or refer to it, you know, there's a refresh going on, yeah. And I know from talking to others that, you know, you can, this is it, you know, a lot of people are on board with this FPV, so that's good, you know. And so you've obviously, you know, it makes sense to a lot of people that, you know, I respect. So you know, I'm excited about this too. I want to do my you know, more research, and we must have a chat, and maybe we could, you know, have a hangout, and you know, if you want to do it privately or live, we can. In fact, I'll tell you what, FPV, if you're able to copy my email address. Okay, anyone feel free to email me, but FPV, if you can email me there, and we'll set up the chat, yeah. Okay, FPV says plenty of lunar wave captures, including a daytime. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Has it been caught in the daytime as well? It's fantastic. Dabbing good. The Bible is more than that, not just astrological. Also, the devil loves to materialize. Oh, thank you very much, David. Thank you for the super chat, David. £5 super chat from David Banner. Hey Nick, great work once again, and would be great to see FPV and hash this out. Great stuff. Fantastic. Okay, I can like that myself. Thank you. All right, give that David Banner super chat a like, please, and give this a like if you can. Thank you very much indeed, David. Yeah, this is a labour of love. It really is. You know, this is important, and this is, you know, arguing with these guys. Let's just get FPV's map up again. Yeah. So we all know about the lunar wave. The links are in the description there. So I'll just leave that running while we chat. Yeah. I'll just make myself slightly bigger if that's all right. Yeah. Yeah. this is all about collaboration, and this is the thing when you're talking to the Globers. I mean, it would be great if you go over to what's his name, Dave McKeegan, right? He's put out this challenge, to explain why we see the sun go all the way straight across the sky during the equinox, assuming that just because an equatorial mount goes around in a circle, it's basically going on a 24-hour cycle, and it comes back round. He assumes that it's, even though it can't see it and it doesn't know that it's tracking the sun, right? It's just on a timer, and these guys seem to think that these equatorial mounts are like proof of the globe. And I was trying to point out, and I've put a comment there on that video. I've put a couple of different comments, so it'd be great if you want to join the discussion there. But also on Wolfie 6020, there's a massive thread going on there with people arguing the toss, because he just he put out a recommendation video to go and watch the Dave McKeegan video. So there's my comments on both. But of course, what you've got is these Globers that just cannot understand or refuse to understand. Well, I've asked them for a tangible measurement. I said, okay, you challenge. I've explained it, that it's perspective. The whole globe Earth model is based on perspective, because you're making observations of stars. The whole coordinate system, the whole coordinate system for the globe, or for the Earth, let's just say, the latitude is worked out from the declination of Polaris, right? So the entire, so it works. The globe model works as far as distances and things like that. It's just not a globe. It's just because they've used, observations of the sky governed by perspective, which is converted into non-Euclidean geometry, rather than the parallel lines that we actually see. So then you got your hemispheres, and that's just hemispheres in the sky. You only need one to start with. You start with the north, get as far as the equator, and then the rest is just calculations. Well, okay, we've come this far from the north. Let's now go that far from the equator, and we'll call that the South Pole. So, I mean, and even, the assumption that we're on the spiral arm of a galaxy, this has never ever been seen. It's all assumptions, But where was I? So, I basically put the challenge back, or explained how the globe model is created from perspective, blah, blah, blah. So, it still works. The equatorial mount works fine on flat Earth. You're just tracking a moving sun, and it's just coming across your subjective horizon, and it's at a position, a height, that allows it to go straight across as just a fraction of whatever circuit it's doing, whether it's doing like an oval shape, a circular shape, or a figure of 8, or there's whatever. Anything's possible. We don't know what the sun is doing, and we don't know what, if anything, is affecting the sun, or the image that we have of the sun, right? So so I totally, as far as this FPV map, then you've got your ground points covered, right, for the sun. Or has it stopped? Let me just start up again. So I get it in that sense. It works when it comes to the sun. And if I can understand the north and the south and everything, but you cannot get a Globie to think like this. I wonder how many of them have looked into this. How many of those Globies with their telescopes, all their fancy equipment, how many of them know about the lunar wave and are looking for it? Crow's been predicting it, and it's been shown. I mean, that's some dedication there. You've got to be out there just to catch this wave. So, it just, to me, that tells us we're in this. It's in a system that is, intelligently designed, and it really is beyond our comprehension. So, but we can at least come back down to Earth. Yeah. So none of these globers can come up with a tangible measurement of curvature. I say, okay, let's just come up with a way to directly measure the surface of the Earth, or even measure the difference between horizontal level and curved level. Yeah. And every single time there's this guy claiming to be an engineering student, and he's given me all these. He said, well, we could create a flat Earth model, and then we could make a globe Earth model. We could put the gravity on the flat Earth model, all in these computer models. I'm like, no, I'm talking about measuring reality. Let's come up with a way to tangibly, directly measure the surface of the Earth. Understand that the globe has been created by converting the geometry of perspective into an imaginary curve, without ever anyone doing any kind of direct, tangible measurement of the surface of the Earth. And every single time you ask one of these guys to come, they go off on some abstract concept. Yeah. Same with Dave McKeegan. Yeah. It's just he comes back with, oh, that's right, because I said the fact that the sun, the moon, and the stars move at different paces proves that it's not the Earth that's moving. Now, basically the argument is that you can't prove what is moving. You can make claims that the Earth is moving because, and this is moving this much and that's moving that much and all that. But it's like the two trains, with one stationary or whatever, you never really know. If you don't know which one is moving, then you can only assume, right? And again, when it comes to distances to stars and things like that, it's absolutely impossible to know. Totally impossible, yeah? They can model it. Sure, you can make model because it's all based on time. Yeah. So no, none of these. I mean, it's mental, absolutely mental. And of course, you're getting the usual snide remarks and comments that basically trying to belittle you, trying to shame you, trying to say you're just a stupid flat earther. They think they're smart because they can only think of it abstractly. They cannot and have not ever had a tangible measurement of curvature. They're talking about just going off on all sorts of nonsense, yeah? Making it they need it to be complicated. Yeah? And then it's funny, Wolfie's saying, oh, you've got dyscalculia. Basically saying, you're poor at maths. Whether I am or not doesn't matter. I mean, it's like, yeah? The point is to be able to break free from whatever conditioning you have. Yeah? But I'd say these guys, someone like Wolfie suffers from dysrationalia. Yeah? And he's put out, he said, oh, you're scared of a debate, you're running away from a debate. I said, no, come on, bring it on. You can come and have a debate. So Wolfie, if you're listening, or any of your chums are listening, I'll happily have you on. Doesn't have to be a debate. It's not a contest. So I'm literally in this chat on their channels trying to just say, hey guys, let's come up with an agreeable way of actually measuring reality. They can't do it. Oh, but bridges and maps and models and power. Yeah. All right, let me just go through the chat again. I'm very hoarse today. But yeah, David, you gave me some energy there. Okay, I missed a lot. Okay, so FPV, I'm going back where you said FPV. Okay, Nick, the flat Mercator map was cut at the IDLs and wrapped around a ball to create the globe. Okay, right. Okay, who else is in? Mojo Shop, hello. Ian Collins, hello. I think I said hello to you already. Powers says, I've suspected in the past that it's one of the places where they're hiding land in that vast region. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree. You've got this, yeah, nobody goes there. Could be anything there. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, so I definitely agree that any of these maps that we're given, these official maps that we're given, just are cannot be taken for granted. What's this? Dabbing good? We actually go into the matrix, different than the Devil's Matrix. Okay, it will be the Nexus one. Mount Meru, Blackrock, Axis Mundi, Collective Soul, or the Conscious Machine. Okay, yeah, Mount Meru and stuff, still a total mystery. Who knows? How are we going to explore this? Yeah. Okay, Uncommon Sense, you're saying there is no lunar wave, it's simply digital refresh rate of the sensor. You think so, yeah? I mean, I know when he was first talking about it, he was trying to eliminate that possibility. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, as far as I understood, he was checking and double checking, and if yeah, it seems to go in a certain direction though. It's like it goes across the moon, so it's not always going straight up. It's kind of going diagonally. Yeah. Yeah, plain truth. Real world data can only be taken from ground surveying controlled ortho photos, in your opinion. Yeah. Okay. Ortho. What's an ortho photo? Orthographic photo? Okay, sorry, it's difficult to follow the chat here. Hang on a second, I'm sorry. Just go back up. Ugh. Yeah, because I don't want to miss anything, because a lot of you got some great stuff to say. And, yeah. So, okay. FPV Angel says you should get a lunar wave above every rainbow. God, hang on, I've got to take some water. Hang on a second. Let me get this playing again. Hang on. There we go. Right. Okay, Dabbing Good says, some people will be reborn, their soul in another vessel. That is a virgin mother giving birth. Okay. Tony Dixon. Okay, Tony says, I would not give McKeegan and crew any attention because he is a proven deceiving liar with a bias and on task paid to lie. Yeah, well, they are, aren't they? Because they get a nice YouTube salary and blah blah blah. Yeah, but it's okay because I don't waste time. It's interesting. Doing in terms of doing the research and really trying to understand the mindset. Yeah, and giving them the opportunity. Say, hey guys, come on, you want to collaborate? Let's do it. If you're out there saying, let's do the science, let's do the measurements, let's prove this, rather than just saying, oh, your globe is da 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 da. Okay, let's give them the opportunity. To be honest, but I know they won't, and I'm quite confident that if any measurement was done, you just know. This is it. They come back with the rabid remarks. They come back with the, the shaming and all that stuff. They try to just get at you, make personal attacks. It's just that's just showing the weak position they have. Yeah. If you're a truth seeker, if you're prepared to, do something like this map here, and put it out there and say, hey, this is what I found, yeah, this is my research, or yeah, then okay, you got balls, you stand on your own ground. You're like, okay, I've done my research, I can back it up, yeah, prove me wrong. Yeah, so kudos, man, you know. Graham 9 says, has anybody here verified this sun path? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, as far as I go, it's really just for me in the equator, nothing much changes. Just get, you know, 12-hour sun. It does change. Okay. FPV says the four rivers are the cardinal directions, and Meru would be the center of this grid. Oh, of this grid in the Atlantic. Okay, cool, interesting. Zoo Scott, Trump has removed the moon wood from deep. Really, the petrified wood. Fantastic, yeah. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a. It's like, it's gonna be good cop, bad cop, I sense. You see, because there's this understanding that we are in this prison, as it were. It's like an open prison, right? And as we were saying earlier on, the best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in prison. So of course, when they give you a globe and you think that's it, then you're in prison, right? It's a mental. You're not going to even try to look for the walls or look for these different ways out, yeah, or go all the way east or all the way west or north or south or whatever, yeah. It's just not going to happen. You're just kind of going from one country to another, and then yeah. And so what's interesting about this whole thing is that if we are in a prison in a way that is, there is a lot more that we could be exploring than we are told about. So we're limited in where we can go just because of our mental image of the globe. Yeah, it's funny because we're stuck on the globe. We're in this whole system. They've got us working. A lot of the time it's just useless, ridiculous jobs, especially if it's the finance industry and things like that. It's just, they're just getting you to work for the sake of it, yeah. And I'm just going to take this back. And you're just your energy's getting vampired, and rather than kind of maybe doing what we're supposed to be doing on Earth, and that's really exploring, getting creative, we get stuck in the paying the taxes, tax. Every time you move money, you get taxed on it. Yeah, you get taxed before you get it. You buy something, you get taxed. You receive money, you get taxed. They just, every single transaction that you make, you're getting taxed, to use their money. It's so we got this whole system, and the globe is all part of it, and the whole space thing is all part of it. And Trump will push the space thing, and of course so will Elon. And Trump, whether he's pushing the vaccines or not, I don't know. But they'll push the space thing, because what happens, the thing is that, we're inside a prison. So one thing that can keep you there is not knowing that you're in a prison. Yeah, this is it. I've actually heard comments like that recently. It's like, well, I don't feel that I'm being controlled. And it's like, well, you are, because you've got to register everything. You've got to give up everything. You don't own anything. Everything you do is taxed. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and then, but you're not aware of it, because you think it's just this vast Earth. But then the thing is, the whole space thing, while we're all trapped in this system of earning the money in the global system, yeah, and we're all kind of spinning our wheels on the hamster wheel or whatever, we've got this hope. We are given hope, and that's the only thing you can have when you're in prison. The only thing you can have is hope. You hope that one day you'll get released. one day it's going to be better, yeah, rather than, you know, like, you know, if you've got the now, you've only really got the now, but the hope is something about the future where it's going to be better. So, you know, the whole space thing gives hope, because it's like, it's a sign of progress, evolution, better things, but also to get off this rock, to get away from all the troubles, yeah, rather than dealing with the troubles, rather than the troubles that have been put upon us by the globalists, yeah, and their global system, and you know, so this is it, the globe model, the timing and all that stuff, the whole thing, it's all intertwined, the Gregorian calendar, it's all detached from the real Earth, isn't it? It's totally detached from reality. It's just this fake system, like the Matrix, yeah? And then, you know, so while you're in that system and you're imprisoned in it, they give you hope with the rockets going off to space. Oh, we're going to get off this place, yeah? Because, you know, you're focused on the future, yeah? It kind of gives you a reason, you know. It's just, you know, it's the PR campaign, it's the carrot, yeah. It gives you a reason to strive for positive change, yeah. Okay, FPV, I'm coming back to you. You say that the equator is the center. Ah, interesting, yeah, because I like how, you know, you can put an azimuth map. You can put the azimuth anywhere you like, right? So you could put it on the center. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this and really go through it, whether we can do Skype or whatever, or a Google Hangout. We've got to work this out, because I know you've got answers to my questions. I just need to get my head around them, yeah? Dabin Good says, I think we all live inside an energy field. With time it gets smaller and smaller. They even admit that the meridians move or shrink 15 centimeters a year. Oh, I didn't know that. Plain truth, air photos stitched together with computers to compose a seamless mosaic tied to ground survey controls. Okay. Oh, I see, you were explaining what those photos meant. Okay, gotcha. Donald Piasik, no one should give any trolls the time of day at this point. Yeah. Sure. And like I said, it's like, so it's just fun to go in there sometimes and see how they react, and also let them know that, you know, they might say these things and make these claims, but you've got an answer. It's up to them whether they're going to listen, yeah? And you put it out there, you've got explanations. It just doesn't fit with their model or their presuppositions, yeah? But I think I'm going to continue to make a very big thing of this, that to me it's totally clear that, you know, the globe was created from, you know, the angles of the stars, and that was converted into these hemispheres. It's so simple, yeah? So, you know, in some ways you've got to get them to understand, the globies that is, that it's not about two different, you know, things don't change. They love to say, oh, that wouldn't happen on a flat earth. Whereas, no, it does. This is exactly what happens on a flat earth. We'd expect to see horizons, yeah? We'd expect to see the sun and the stars get cut off because they're local, yeah? And, you know, we don't expect, there's nothing, you know, again, you know, it's like when they're assuming they're using an equatorial mount to track the sun, and it really does look like they are actually tracking a moving sun. They're assuming that the sun is stationary and the earth is moving, and they've got to move their camera to compensate. You know, it's like, yeah, it is a lot of mental gymnastics, yeah? It is a bit complicated, but it doesn't prove what's moving, really, in terms of you saying it's definitely a globe, it's definitely moving and spinning around the sun. It's like, well, no, you've got to come back down to earth, right? Because there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can prove from the sky, because we just do not know what the lights are, how far away they are, and all the other stuff. We don't know. And we don't know what's between us and them, if anything. We have no idea. But we know it was created to have this place work. Yeah? So, yeah. How yeah, so it is, I think it's okay to rub, and when they get angry and they start trying to belittle you and stuff, you just point out, don't argue, just point out that they are showing their weakness. They're pumping their chests and, putting on this show of bravado and trying to shame you and trying to belittle you and trash talk you. That's because they feel insecure in themselves. It's projection, right? They cannot talk to you like an adult. Yeah, because their identity is being attacked. Yeah. So they're just showing their weakness and that they've got nothing to really stand on, because all they've got is just, belief. Graham9 says, making claims about what we stand on without full exploration is insanity. Well, yeah, we are limited. I would say, yeah, we cannot fully know, can we? Yeah, until we've fully explored. And will we ever get the chance to do that? Yeah, I had a fever last night. That's why I've got a bad throat. This great stuff. What have I got? This is really good stuff. It's called Camilo-san. Camilo-san. Oh, it's in Thai. Can you read that? This is a fantastic Thai product. It's got all these different herbs that just really help with a bad throat. So I'm going to have a little spray thing there, yeah? Oh yeah, dabbing good. Oh, what were we going to say about Jeren? Let's go back to that. Okay. Dabbing good says, LOL, somehow they got Jeren. What happened to nothing in the sky? Oh, yeah, no, Jeren's a YouTuber. All right, and if he genuinely was sold on the AE map and he'd never thought beyond that, whatever. But I mean, he's a YouTuber, right? And okay, he's on his own journey. It's just a bit annoying that it was made out that he represents everyone else. But of course, we know that was deliberate. That was the false dichotomy, anyway. And Jeren was the only one they could really kind of get to. But no, I mean, I'm a bit disappointed that because Jeren's kind of basically reverted to agreeing that horizons are curvature. Yeah. So, like I said, in my mind, it totally makes sense. The globe model or map makes sense because it's been derived from looking at the sky. Yeah, I understand how that has been projected as something in terms of geometry, non-Euclidean geometry. Makes sense, yeah? So the globies... I think that there's something totally different going on if you're thinking of a flat Earth. It's like, no, it was done all on a flat Earth, but you've used perspective rather than measuring the surface. Yeah. So, and yeah, horizons. This is it. Yeah. I've even said to these guys in the other thing, horizons. If you could. We could mutually agree that horizons don't prove anything. But of course, they've fixated on having this explanation of horizons being an edge of their curve. Yeah, so they're stuck with it. That's the thing with the heliocentric model. It's got all these explanations. And yeah, when you actually do critically think about it, then you realise that there's so many contradictions, yeah? So they don't add up. So yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Jaron's just dumped all these contradictions that were obvious, and so yeah, I mean, yeah, the globe projection is just a projection of these two hemispheres, but of a plane that's divided into two hemispheres. Yeah, it's easy enough to understand, but we don't really know what's going on in the sky, and yeah, to just kind of basically go back to the globe baffles me, because it means that, well, it's like, did you not fully understand the whole flat earth thing in the first place? I mean, if you see a trending topic and you decide to be a YouTuber on that trending topic, then cool. But then, I don't know. I think a lot of us have had that awakening when you really you just see it with fresh eyes, and there's just no way you're going to go back to believing you live on a globe, because you understand how the deception was carried out. If you've gone that deep into it, if you've done the studies, you understand that there has never, ever, ever, ever been a measure of curvature, and there has always been a measure of the flatness and the level plane. That's how Earth is measured in reality. Never changes. Yeah, plumb lines are plumb lines. They go down. But you'll have people, just because they can draw a map or a cross section and say it go, all they can do is assume it. So Domingo says, I don't think Jaron is intentionally being bad. He obviously had a hard time dealing with criticism, hence his constant complaining about what others say. Now he is under pressure more than ever. Well, again, it's like, come on, guys. They just went down there, and it's like you're going all the way to Antarctica to potentially ultimately prove whether it's a globe or an Earth. Yeah, of course, we know it was a false dichotomy, but crying out loud, didn't anyone think to do some other experiments? I mean, just take a bloody gyroscope along. You don't have to have it on the plane. You just spin it up in one of these huts in Antarctica. Now, if the Earth is rotating and you spin up a gyro, which stays fixed in space, but the Earth moves underneath it, then your gyro is going to end up in a different position. Yeah? Simple stuff like that, yeah? No one actually thought about what experiments they could actually do to do some other bloody proper measurements, Ridiculous. So, it was just like... wasn't science. That's the thing. Duffy just went about it the whole total way, because of course their intention was to prove the globe. We're going to look at the sun and prove the globe, because that's where their model came from in the first place, looking at the sun. So they are absolutely incapable. They are incapable of actually coming up with a way of, determining the difference between horizontal level and curved level. Yeah. Yeah, conscious machine. Just imagine they want me to believe an Australia is upside down compared to me in Massachusetts. What nonsense. Okay. Let's get this going again. Okay, FPV, the Globers tried to debunk me. They flew from Australia to South America. They flew west, why not east? Okay. Yeah, again, I'll look into it. look into these things and have a discussion with you about it. Yeah. Dabbing good, I'll fall off an edge of flat Earth, but can be stuck upside down to a spinning ball. How ridiculous. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Yeah, it is funny how they make these comparisons. Yeah. Okay, Graham9, cheers. Plain truth, somebody should report fraudulent NASA to Elon at Dodge. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's his. In that respect, that's his job, to give us hope. We're going to go to Mars one day. Yay! But I mean, he might be, again, he might just be a believer. He really believes it, so he's being blagged as well. Yeah. I mean, he's a smart guy and everything, but this is it. Smart people don't think that they can be bamboozled. Yeah. Or he might know. Because he's come up with that comment. He said that comment before. The best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure he never knows he's in prison. Elon Musk has actually said that quote. So maybe he knows what he's doing. He's the one providing hope for the prisoners. Dabbing good, the black goo is called graphene. Research it, yes, and see the crazy things they're doing with direct mind control. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. We're being manipulated in so many ways, yeah. Plain truth, heliocentric paradigm is the powerful delusion in the Second Thessalonians. Okay, something I need to learn about. Hello, Luca. All the glory of infinite space should be redirected to Earth. Space is... Yes! Right, that's nicely said. Donald, hello. It is a feudal system. Yeah! In fact... I was editing this guidebook for Paris. Just finished doing that today, and there was a bit about the French Revolution, so I was doing some research on that. And actually, it's interesting because the French Revolution. I mean, of course, you all know the story, but Henry the something or other. I can't remember what. No. I can't remember the name of the king now. Louis the 10th, 11th, or whatever it was. I can't remember. And Marie Antoinette. They were the latest in a long line of nobility. Yeah. So France was living in this feudal system, so controlled by the church and nobility. And they were just taxing everyone to the hilt, yeah. And then you had your peasants and everyone, and they just got more and more taxed. And of course, the royals, and they were so detached from reality that eventually the people had just had enough. The harvests failed, people were starving, and then Marie Antoinette apparently said, "Let them eat cake," and so they stormed the Bastille, and the people returned the country to a republic, or because it had been under Roman Catholic rule, and the nobility, and all this land, the land distribution was messed up. Yeah, they took their country back. The people took their country back, and that there's no reason why that can't happen again. Maybe in some ways what Trump is doing is good. He's given the country back to the people, stopping all this money spending. Great, cool. It's been painful to watch it all go on, and the Americans just sit by. This powerful military. I have no idea what they're really doing in Gaza and stuff. I mean, I can't really fathom it, but maybe Trump's got a plan to stop people getting killed. I don't know. But yeah, at the same time, you can also see that it's a power grab, and you've got people that are power hungry in positions of power now, and is the world ever enough? Yeah. So it's not. You can't. It's like the good cop, bad cop thing, I suppose. Yeah, like I was saying. So, but I mean, it is a mini revolution in a way, and that might happen in somewhere like the UK. When you have countries that protect their sovereignty, Thailand does it. Yeah, I mean, I can't stay here unless my visa's up to date. If I get caught with my visa out of date, I'm on the next plane home. Yeah, they make sure of it. And they'll stick you in a horrible grungy cell with 100 other guys and a hole in the floor for a toilet. Yeah, they don't care. Send you back. Yeah. Any other country in the world will send people back that come in without a visa. Yeah, and they maintain their sovereignty. But you look at the UK now, it's being demolished, and it is being demolished by these people that are. It is an insurgence, and it's an invasion of people that hate the country. They're coming from places where they, it's mental, and of course the public have really had enough. They're getting taxed to the hilt. They're getting fined for driving anywhere that's the whole green agenda. It's just everything costs money. They're getting forced into, and we're paying in the UK pay huge amounts for fuel, more than anyone, kind of sending it to other countries and then buying it off them, and they're selling it to their own people cheaper. It's just, that is the thing. The people in power, in control of somewhere like the UK, aren't looking out for the people. They're looking out for themselves. They're just using the UK as an asset. Yeah. So you never know. People are getting very, very fed up. There could be a revolution, just like the French Revolution. Who knows? I don't know. But I've seen it here a few times. There's been a few coups in Thailand. That's obviously kind of political fighting and stuff, or between whatever. But I mean, the thing is, when people warm to something and they feel safety in numbers, they go for it. They flood the streets. They camp out. Yeah, they gather in numbers. Oh, can I tell the crickets? Oh, thank you, FPV Angel. You sent an email. Nice one. That'd be good. Just because we see a sun, that doesn't mean it can't do weird things. It doesn't originate there. So, yeah, exactly. Anything's possible. Thank you, David. You say nicely put. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm so far behind on the chat with my monologuing. Sorry about that. Tony Whitcomb, hello. Travel agent said we don't do tours in Antarctica for 24-hour sun. Go north for them tours. I trust the travel. Ah, yes. I remember that one, yeah. All right, Nimble Horse, hello. I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone. Damn Good says, I find it crazy for 10 damn years we've been demanding evidence for South, and just now they give us the evidence that isn't clearly edited. Something isn't right. Yeah, it's not Wissett and Jaron. Yeah. Again, I believe they went somewhere south, where they went where they said they did, and they saw the sun, and it's okay. Like you say, we don't have to conform to what they assume the sun to be doing. Yeah. And, the fact that the sun is low to the horizon in Antarctica means that it's far away, right? So, there's a lot more to go in terms of land, inwards. Okay, Dabbing Good, you say, I've been in this community since late 2014, so I've seen all the players for a long time. It's not Jaron and Witsit. They have been played like all of us, but someone needed to go. Well, no, not really. No, because, I mean, yeah, it's been and done now, and it's cool. And now we've got like some kind of confirmation that there's a 24-hour sun, and FPV Angel's map accounts for it. But the thing is, that was never an issue. I didn't care. For me, as a flat earther, yeah, I didn't care what the sun was doing. I mean, yes, I did, and looked into it, and then realised that it's all subjective. The angles and this and that are all different, and understood that that's how they kind of arrived at the globe, because it's starwood, But the Earth being flat is because the Earth is flat. Nothing to do with the sky. Yeah? It's because horizons. For me, it was horizons. They're claiming that horizons are curvature with a fixed geometric curve. And so, no, they're not. They're not tangible. Yeah, and then it's converted into non-Euclidean geometry. So it was the land, it was our vision, understanding that the way our vision works had been described in a geometric way and converted into this spherical Earth. Yeah. So to me, I just understood that, and so this is why I was surprised after all this time that, you know, okay, I don't blame Jaron and Whitson for going along, but now to come back and you know, and kind of behave like none of what went before meant anything about it being obvious that we're on a flat Earth, not a globe. Let's go look at the YouTube. Hello. All right, have I got to the end of the chat? Okay. And Damien Good says, I agree, exactly. That is why I can't believe Jaron is even considering what he is. And it was an observation, and it needs to be repeated many times to consider it as factual as science. Indy 007, hi there, man. Nothing in the sky has a true position, even in Globetardia. It only has an apparent position. Yes, exactly. What are we going to use it for? It's a useless spatial reference. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to explain to someone today that, yeah, you know, you have space, you have this tangible Euclidean space. You know, this guy was talking about getting a controlled environment and making observations because, you know, to avoid refraction. Oh, you know, but it's just you've got to have this simple understanding that physical space is Euclidean, but you observe that space and it becomes non-Euclidean. And then so if you're going to base any of your models on interpreting the non-Euclidean geometry or the way your vision is described in terms of non-Euclidean geometry, then that's when you get your converging parallel lines and your curves and all that stuff. Because once you've gone non-Euclidean, parallel lines can converge and you can have arcs and this, that and the other, yeah? So, yeah, I mean, in that sense, it was so obvious how the, I mean, it's one of those things where it was clear in my mind, but to actually understand the terminology and all the other aspects of it, it does take a long while. But so it has taken several years for me personally to kind of really, you know, find a way of describing how the bamboozle was done, and I still can't necessarily do it in a way that always makes sense, you know, but it's just that fundamental understanding of how vision has been converted. Yeah. What's that, Powers? And why is it so damn difficult to explain this simple concept? Lights in the sky may not, they're not tangible. Exactly, yeah. Therefore you have no clue. But yeah, this is it, Powers. You're right. You could, this is it. It's all it is. Understand, you know, I was going to do a video on it, but yeah, you take two dots and you get a ruler, and on a surface you can measure the distance between the dots. But if those two dots are in the sky, there's nothing. You've got no tangible reference whatsoever. Yeah. Luca, sky will show clearly when full halos will be visible in each luminary, telling us clearly it is all projected tech from down Earth. Yeah, so, you know, I jive with that. It's amazing, but yeah, a lot more to look into there. They should be called Google Earthers, yeah. Yeah. All right, sweet. So, yeah, food for thought, I hope, as always, yeah. And yeah, let's have a discussion soon. We'll set that up, FPV, yeah, and we'll do some more on it. So, yeah, it's funny. Sometimes it's like I'm the slow one catching up with what everyone else has been doing for years. I mean, so yeah, apologies there. Mr. Tahidi, they didn't even do a temp difference between noon sun and midnight sun, didn't they? Power speculating is fun. Absolutely, why not? Yeah, this is it. You're free when you're free, and that's what you see with the Globies. They try to shame you because that's how we were conditioned. You must go along with the narrative. If you don't, then you're a dumb person, yeah. And just because they have to think in these abstract concepts to come up with the globe, they think they're smart. But it's just like they've got dysrationalia. They can't think rationally because they cannot. Cannot. They say, well, how do you measure flatness then? Oh, come on, guys. When you get a question that's like that, don't bother answering. It's just go and test it for yourself. It's always measured flat. S33K3R. I'm late starter but quick study. Okay. Yeah, and if you see the sun, you think 10-degree angle accounts for drop in temperature, Mr. Tiddy says. Okay, FPV Angel says 24-hour sun debunks a globe and a pizza map. Globers don't realise the globe would have to reverse direction to achieve this. Okay, yeah. I've not put too much mega thought into it. A lot of you have, so I'll take your word for it. Yeah. Yep, that's right. They declare it as a fact. I saw Phil come in earlier. Phil, Satellite Phil, whatever your name is. What's your name? I can't remember. Phil the Globey. Yeah. So, all right. Been putting your 2 pence worth in there. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, chaps. Let's sign off for that. Oh, one more chat from Nimble Horse. Tides are a product of barometric pressure from the sun and electromagnetic pressure from saltier oceans and more. Yeah. Yeah, the pressure does correlate with the tides. Yeah. So this is it. You can imagine up above as being some kind of lung thing. I wonder if the moon is, is there a valve? Is there a hole? Is it some very mechanical thing where the pressure is being increased and decreased over the month and you get the tides? Yeah, it's all possible. Yeah, this is the wonderful thing. You are free. You are free to think whatever you want and theorize and whatever. Yeah, those guys are stuck. And yeah. All they've got is this hope. They see the rockets go up. They've got this hope of a better life, yeah, because they're so pissed off with the now because they're stuck in this bloody prison. The whole global thing, everything, the whole thing that goes with it, yeah. So this is it. When sometimes you have those moments of clarity where it's like, wow, the whole entire system and the globe is this one thing. Designed to enslave us and use our energy, our creative energy. This is it. If you get into a career, it's funny. Kids, when they're teenagers, they go through that phase where they're getting up very late and stuff. But a lot of the time, that's when we're trying to force them to school and do exams and things like that. But actually, they need to sleep. Yeah, that's their rhythm, their body clock. It needs that sleep time. They're growing, yeah. They sleep at a different time to others, yeah. And then we're just completely denaturalized everything, yeah, everything. I was thinking, you know, if I went back, oh, there's a great channel you should check out. I'll do a shout out for. It's this guy he's a Thai guy, speaks English, and he's in Thailand, but he runs this whole, you know, self-sufficient place with the vegetables and building and stuff like that. I mean, you know, imagine if you started building a mud house in England, yeah. It's the most sensible thing to have. It doesn't cost you anything. A bit of labour, yeah. It's solid. It protects you from the rain and the cold and all that stuff, yeah. But people would be laughing at you. They'd be pointing and jeering and trying to shame you. Oh, what's that, Indy? What you said about Euclidean space versus seeing non-Euclidean space is lost on Globers. Okay, they treat them as equal. Really? Yeah. I just tell them, go try and build a house by just eyeball the pieces. Yeah, I've been giving it a go, see if they get it. And no, they just come back. That's interesting. Yeah. But this is it, isn't it? This is the whole thing. The journey is discovering how and why you believed things to be a certain way. And it's not just about the globe or anything like that. It's about, you know, the culture, your environment you were brought up in, the conditioning from society, from your parents. You know, as you grow older, you start to kind of like reflect, and you think, hang on, I'm doing something that I was conditioned to do, but I could do it differently. I reacted. And then, you know, when you start, that's the awakening process, isn't it? You start realizing that you react to things, and then you start noticing in that, and then the cessation begins. You then stop them. You know, you can have a reaction and regret it, but then you get to a point where you can stop the reaction before it happens. And this is the evolution of the spirit, the soul, the mind. Yeah, that's what it's all about. In anything, it's not just about what we believe. Hello, the Sute. Sea Lightning, hi there. Have you ever seen cyclones forming hundreds of miles away? I haven't, to be honest. Donald says up to its high point and back down, but coming and going. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm lost on the conversation there. Donald Classic, sun makes a pyramid as it comes and goes over the day. Kind of, yeah. I remember making the comparison to the sun when I was in the UK compared to Thailand. Obviously it's above me here, and then you're sort of thinking, well, in the UK you kind of appear to be outside of a circle, so in a way that would fit more with Antarctica being the center. But then again, it's perspective as well, yeah? So you can't really tell if it's actually arcing. It's getting closer to you, yeah? But on what kind of path is still quite mysterious. So yeah, you can't necessarily... Yeah, I realised then, years ago, that you can't necessarily say for sure that the sun is circling the North Pole or the South Pole. So it was at that point when I'd made those comparisons that I realised that the AE map doesn't really answer all the questions, and that the sun is kind of still beyond our understanding. Yeah, so that was, gosh, that was years ago. So I remember that kind of having that realisation. So yeah, yeah, Dummy Good says he needs to go and binge watch FPV Angel's videos. Yeah, you certainly should. Donald, okay. You should be able to see an anvil cloud from around 100 miles away on a clear day. Yeah, I have when I get to the beach, I have a lovely view, and but I've no idea how far away it is. But I only get, in the monsoon season, you don't get a clear view. It's just grey, and there's times when it's so hazy that you can't even see as far as the horizon. Yeah, it's just like it's just mental. Yeah, it's really just hazy. But yeah, on a clear day, I don't know how far I'm seeing. Yeah. Lucas, all people at Svalbard see the sun passing north during the night in June. Okay. Sea lightning. Storm clouds can be seen 300 miles. Yeah. Your record is seeing lightning bolts 520 miles by eyes. That's cool. Okay. All right. Eon Monk, hello. The wise guys that came to worship the King of Kings when he came in the flesh were not globers. Okay. A bit out of the blue there. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to knock it on the head, guys. I really hope that's been enjoyable and food for thought, yeah? So, yeah. Let's wrap it up. And again, David Banner, thank you very much for the support there, for your super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah, go sub to David Banner if you're not already. Yeah. And let's just carry on hammering the point home. I think people get it in the end. We just got to keep pushing it and just getting them back down to earth. Keep measuring. Let's do it. Let's just put out the challenge. Let's demonstrate the measurements. Let's just keep going. Yeah. Hi, Chilling. Oh, you didn't get a notification. Baron. Oh, all right. Oh man, people are just coming in. Yeah. No, I've got to go. My throat's giving up now. So yeah. All right, man. Thank you very much for coming along. Take care. We'll speak soon, and have yourselves a good weekend. Cheers.